thank you for inviting me here to talk about depositing data with the Historic Environment Record. As John said, in his very kind introduction, I'm Calli Rouse. I am the National Specialist Lead for HERs for Heneb. I've worked for the Glamorgan Gwent Archaeological Trust and now Heneb for over a decade now. But today I'm specifically going to talk to you about depositing data with the HER. I was going to give you a little bit of a background about Heneb, but Sophie slightly didn't steal my thunder because we both work for the same company. But there you can see I've got a nice little map showing you where all our offices are that she mentioned earlier. And one thing I wanted to emphasize, we are two separate sections. So the HER sits within the advisory services section of Heneb as opposed to the field services, and we are very separated. We do operate very separately. We have the Curator's Code of Conduct, which highlights the separation between the two arms. You can find that on, I think it's on the planning pages of the Heneb website.
Sorry, Calli, you've muted yourself.
Why have I been? Has that worked?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
You might want to go into presentation mode as well. So.
There we go. So the way it's done, I can't see myself. So
that's okay.
But we've done this slide. Where did I mute? Where did we finish this slide?
Next one.
Next slide. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So bit of background to the HER. Previously it was the Sites and Monuments Record, and now the Historic Environment Record. In 2016, it became a statutory record, and the Historic Environment Wales Act 2016 placed a statutory duty on Welsh ministers to maintain an HER, and they discharged that duty formerly through the Welsh Archaeological Trusts and now through Heneb. And then the Act was consolidated in 2023 as Welsh Government have a programme of trying to make the legislation more accessible. So it brought everything together. So we're now under the HE Act 2023. So the HER itself is a high quality evidence base for decision making. It underpins every single piece of archaeological work in Wales. Within Wales, we're the only place who can say we are managed nationally. The HER is managed nationally, and we still deliver the service regionally. So you get, in my opinion, the best of both worlds. It contains the best available current knowledge that we have. It's a relational database with a GIS, and we have almost 450,000 records. So we have core records that are sites, and then we have event records that are events that have happened across Wales. And we grow by about 5 to 10% every year. So I'm hoping we're going to hit that 500,000 mark fairly soon. So the team at Heneb, we manage both digital and physical resources, and the information held within the HER was collected over the last sort of 49 years or so. So this is the first little interactive bit where this all may go horribly wrong. If you scan the QR code on the screen, or I think you can click the link to copy it, and let me know how many people in the audience have ever made an inquiry with the Heneb HER or one of the Welsh Archaeological Trust HERs prior to Heneb. Give you a few minutes and hope this works. If not, this is going to be a shorter presentation. Nothing's coming through. I'm assuming then it's not working.
Hi, Calli. I've photographed the QR code, and I just get a loading sign on the
That's what some
forms.office.com
people said
website.
earlier. It was odd. Some people it worked and some people it didn't. They're all set, so they should be publicly accessible. You don't need to log into anything.
All right. Okay. Perhaps we could just ask people to put their thumbs up, as Louise has suggested. So
you'll have to, because I can't.
you can't see them.
But
All
you could tell me. You could tell me. I'm going to assume that quite a lot of people here have made an inquiry with the HER.
The thumbs coming up now. So.
Excellent, excellent. I'll try again. We have a second one. This is terrible. Please work. I got this idea. I saw Mary Beard give a talk, and she used a very similar. Oh, responses are coming through. This is very exciting. So this was that, it got the whole audience involved. I'm not comparing myself to Mary Beard, but I thought it was a nice way to get a feel for what's going on. So the majority of people have made a deposition with the HER. I appreciate for some people it won't be part of your remit, or maybe you don't work within a part of the archaeological sector that requires you to make depositions. Again, I just wanted to have a feel of who was in the audience. So again, the majority of people have. So good, cool, thank you. Yay, it worked. So the theme of this is talking about depositing data with the Heneb HER. So in order to facilitate that process and make it easier for people to deposit with us, we launched the guidance for the submission of data to the Heneb Historic Environment Record. From now on, I will just refer to it as the guidance, because that's a bit of a mouthful. And it doesn't have a fun acronym either, I'm afraid. So we first launched it in 2018, and we've reviewed it since, and we plan on releasing version 5 later on this year. And it provides guidance on how to submit data in a format that the HER can easily consume, and make sure the data meets any national standards, and make that data accessible to everyone, to a wide audience. And also from our end, makes it easier for us to manage and maintain and preserve, and make it cost effective to accession. It also includes things like the bilingual requirements that have been in place since 2016, where we're required to provide bilingual data for all HER records created after October 2016, I think it is. So you can find that guidance on our website, and on video, I think it is. It's really, I think it's a really great document. I would say that because I helped write it. But it, it's really thorough, and it really does tell you the best way, the best practice way to deposit data with us, how that data can be stored, how it can be accessible, and how we can get it up online and out for everybody to see as quickly and easily as possible. So depositing data with the HER, we have the guidance, but we also wanted to make it easy and streamline the process to actually send the data to us. So we have come up with, a lot of you may have seen this, a system named HEDDOS, which is the Historic Environment Record Data Deposit Online System. I know some people have said to me it should be HERDOS or HERDOS, but HEDDOS works better, I think. This is maybe another chaotic section of this presentation, because I'm going to stop sharing this and actually share the web page, because it wouldn't let me integrate a link So bear with me 2 seconds. And I will attempt to share the actual link. There we go. So hopefully you can all see that.
Yes.
Yep, fabulous. So again, we have a link to this on the HER pages on the Heneb website. It's a very simple form. We've set it up in jot form, where you will select the unitary authority within which you are depositing data or your piece of work took place. So go through. Unfortunately, I can't make it work without clicking on things, so do bear with me. But I wanted to show you all how it works and how easy it is. If you want to do HEDDOS in Welsh, we do have it available bilingually. And any sections that have an asterisk, you have to fill in. So I will just quickly fill in and apologise to Olivia, who I know is in the audience, that she will be receiving. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. That she will be receiving a fake deposit later. So what would we want you to deposit would be the name of your event. If you have the planning reference, that's really great. We can have that and we can record that within the HER. The type of event that has been undertaken. Again, we have a thesaurus of accepted event types that you can use, and that's how we record things within the HER. We have set terms that we use so that things like, again, the data is easily searchable. Information regarding when the event happened. You can contact the HER and we can assign you what we call a PRN, or a primary reference number. Again, there's a form for this on our website. And that is the unique identifier that follows the information through the entire process of being put onto the HER. That's how we reference it within the HER. That's how it would be referenced in any literature going forwards. And we can assign you those, and we can also assign you PRNs for any core sites that you found. So if you found a villa and you found some post holes and you found, I don't know, struggling now to think of a site type to come into my head, and you found a barrow, that'd be a very exciting site if you found all of those together. We can assign you PRNs for those as well. And again, they're unique identifiers that will follow them through our system, and any future references. Grid references, very handy, as I'm sure you would know. We used to get a lot of depositions without grid references, and some maps are not always, they don't show you enough to make the to find the grid reference for yourself. You'd be surprised at how many depositions were made without any grid references, or reports that only had minimal locational information in them. There's a slightly different process if it's within DBMP, but it just flags to us that it is within the park. And then your bilingual summaries, you can just copy and paste into there. And then we do have the option to make the deposit confidential. So you can specify how long you want it to be confidential for, and we will keep it restricted within the HER. It won't go out to the public to view at all. So there is that facility, because I know that is something that has worried people depositing with the HER, but we do not have that option. You can upload your report here. Again, it won't let me go on without adding something. So there you go. And if the data is too large, you can send it to us via WeTransfer or similar other data sharing platforms are available. Images and polygons and anything else that you think would be useful, sort of historic asset polygons, anything like that would be really, really handy for us to have. And there's the options there for you to add them. When you know where the archive is going to be deposited, in most cases this will be the commission, but you can send that to us as well, and the accession number. And the same for the physical archive, because we can record that within the system. I'll show you a bit more later on, where we can signpost to all the places where you can find further information about these sites. And then you just have to agree to our terms and conditions, date it and sign it, which I won't submit now. I'll save Olivia a job and I won't submit. So that is the HEDDOS form in a nutshell. It's very simple, I hope. And that is what we have designed to make it easy to deposit with the HER. Bear with me as I go back to the presentation. There we go. So moving on from that, I have, hopefully, another poll that may or may not work. Let's hope. How many inquiries do you think that the Heneb HER receives on average per year? This can be commercial or non-commercial, just inquiries for information from the HER. Give it a few more seconds just for more people to be able to respond. Or it's like watching the local elections, isn't it? So 62% of you, as it currently stands, are correct. It is over 400 that we receive on average per year. How many recommendations for archaeological work do you think the Heneb planning team make in a calendar year? Quite like watching it go up and down. Okay, so 45% of you are correct. It's just over, well, not just over, it's well over 900 recommendations are made throughout Wales in a year. And now the final poll of the presentation, how many submissions do you think the HER receives in a year? Bearing in mind your previous two. Still going, still going. It's neck and neck. So we actually receive 600 to 650. So it shows that I appreciate that there are some projects that happen over many years, some projects that have many phases, and you don't necessarily deposit straight away, but comparatively, we receive just over half of the amount of projects that are recommended within Wales. And this is sort of echoes some of the things that Sophie was saying in her presentation, that we want to get the best available knowledge out there. I've highlighted that in red because that's the HER has the best available knowledge. If we don't know about something, then we can't put it out there, which is why it's so important to deposit with the HER, because the HER is the centre of the known universe. We call this the cog of power within the HER team. It just demonstrates how when you make an inquiry, you're using the information that has been sent into the HER through field work, through research, and it's all connected. As I said in the beginning of my presentation, we underpin all the decisions that are made in where the archaeological decisions, not all the decisions, the archaeological decisions that are made within Wales. So it's really important that that data is deposited with the HER and we can get it up there and make it accessible, not only to developers, but to the members of the public as well. Just let you enjoy the cog for a few moments more. So I was talking to Rachel about this presentation, and she said that she was quite interested in learning what we do with the data that we get sent. So I thought I'd include a little section so we don't just consume it and leave it as it is. Within the HER, we record all the information that is within the report that is pertinent, and we represent that data spatially. We create links between core records that are related to the site, and we also create links between other records that are within our system, event records. So if there's a desk-based assessment that leads to an evaluation, that leads to an excavation, that leads to some post-ex work, you can follow that through within our system. We record photographs, we have reports available online for you to view as well. And we also do the same for, oh, sorry, I forgot to say, signposting to other sources, in that we have cross-references not only to our own data, but also to other data that is related. So we can signpost to archives as well. We can show people where the archive for that particular event is stored, and the accession numbers if we've got them, so that they can then go on and look things up and make use of those archives. We also record core records, and again we'll link them to any event that is related, so the events don't have to be related, they can all be related to one core. Again, we have reports. This one sadly doesn't have photographs, but we do have photographs as well. We also record finds, and again where they're stored so that they can be researched as well, and again signposting everybody to where there is further information. And we also publish the information on Archwilio, limited information, so it's the publicly available historic environment record, but it's not suitable for commercial use because we don't show everything that is on there, but all the stuff that can be viewed publicly safely is available via Archwilio, and it is bilingual as well. Excuse me. We relaunched the site in 2017, and we now show the statutory content on behalf of Welsh ministers. So we have designated sites, battlefields, place names. As I said, we have Welsh language content for records created since May 2016. And then we relaunched the site again in 2022 with a new look. But the HER isn't just digital. We also have maps and paper records. We have files and files and files. I think last time I looked, I didn't look specifically and count them all individually, but we have roughly 500,000 paper supporting files in the Glamorgan Gwent region alone. So when you make an inquiry of the HER and you get sent data, it is always worth having a conversation with the relevant HER officer about what other material we hold that could be important and could tell you further information about the sites that you're looking at. And we also, each office has a reference library of text and journals that you can view as well if you visit the offices. So I think the last time we had a physical visit in Glamorgan Gwent for a commercial search was prior to COVID. And I do understand that COVID obviously impacted a lot of things, but it is still, we still do have all this data that is very much worth coming and having a look at. And you can visit the HER offices Monday to Friday, just make an appointment and there'll be someone there to show you around. We also talked, Rachel and I, about the impacts of the merger of the 4 Welsh Archaeological Trusts to form Heneb. So I think it's been a largely positive thing. And I know some of my team members are in the audience and hopefully will agree. It means that we're now, I think, a more resilient team, a more resilient service. We've streamlined a lot of our policies, our charges. If we have cross-border inquiries, they're now dealt with by one officer, so you get all the data at one time. We have various different strengths within our team, and we've been able to share the knowledge between us, and that's created a lot of learning opportunities for the team. And now our approach to any Pan Wales HER enhancement is much better. Again, much more, I keep saying streamlined, but it is much more streamlined. We're all singing from a very similar hymn sheet. I think when we started, I've said a couple of times to people in the past, we started just post-merger as similar but different enough to be annoying. And I now think we're very much all on the same page. And finally, I thought I would finish on saying, if you would like to come and volunteer with the HER, we do have opportunities. Here you can see some of our volunteers. That's Kevin, Paddy and Rosetta. You don't have to be furry and four-legged. You can be human. That's absolutely fine. We are kicking off a project in Glamorgan Gwent, looking at some of our project archives, Andy, Marvell and myself, which will be later this year, and we'll be looking for volunteers to come in and help with that. We have lots of opportunities in our offices, so do get in touch with us. I realise I've not put a contact email address. I'll drop it in the chat at the end of the talk. But there are always opportunities within the HER to come and help us. And on that, the Earl Cam Randall.